There's a company most people have never heard of, at least not by name, yet its work is changing how millions around the world think about weight, health, and their own bodies. This is Novo Nordisk, a Danish drug maker that spent most of its life developing treatments for diabetes and chronic illness. For decades, it operated quietly in labs and clinics. Then something unexpected happened. A group of medications originally meant for blood sugar control began showing results no one predicted. Weight loss on a scale once thought impossible without surgery. Suddenly, Novo Nordisk's drugs weren't just medical treatments, they became part of a global conversation about obesity, lifestyle, and what health even means today. Demand exploded, patients lined up, markets reacted, and a company rooted in century-old pharmaceutical tradition found itself at the center of a revolution no one saw coming. But this story isn't just about a medical breakthrough. It's about how science, economics, controversy, and human hope can collide in ways that shape the future of health for billions. So why Novo Nordisk? And how did a once quiet Danish firm become the name behind one of the most talked about medicines of our time? This is story of Novo Nordisk's Novo Nordisk didn't start with weight loss. In fact, for most of its history, the company was known for something entirely different: insulin. Dating back nearly a century, Novo Nordisk helped produce life-saving diabetes treatments that gave new hope to patients struggling with chronic illness. Their reputation was built on meticulous research, ethical science, and a focus on long-term health outcomes. Then came a discovery that changed everything. In the early 2010s, Novo researchers were studying a class of hormones called GLP-1, which play a natural role in regulating blood sugar and appetite. One of the drugs in this class, semaglutide, was originally developed to help people with type 2 diabetes control their blood sugar levels. But something unexpected emerged in clinical trials. Patients taking semaglutide didn't just see better glucose control, many started losing significant amounts of weight. Not a few pounds here and there, but study after study reporting double-digit weight loss for people who had struggled for years with obesity. That was the spark. Novo Nordisk saw a possibility that changed the way medicine treats obesity, not as a cosmetic or lifestyle issue, but as a medical condition that could be managed with medication. Traditional methods like diet and exercise are essential, but for millions of people they aren't enough on their own. Novo's research suggested a scientific way of aiding weight loss in a way specialists hadn't seen before. This led to the development and FDA approval of Wegovy, a high-dose version of semaglutide, specifically targeted for managing obesity, not just diabetes. In major clinical trials, patients taking Wegovy alongside diet and exercise lost significantly more weight than those using diet and exercise alone, sometimes around 15% of their body weight over the course of treatment. The science behind it is fascinating but simple at its core. Semaglutide mimics a natural hormone that tells the brain you're full, slows down digestion, and helps reduce appetite changes that can fundamentally alter eating behavior. Suddenly, Novo Nordisk wasn't just a diabetes company anymore. It was at the forefront of a new era in obesity medicine, one that could touch millions of lives and reshape how the world thinks about chronic weight management. Novo Nordisk's leap from diabetes care to weight loss revolution didn't happen overnight. It started with science, but soon it became a global phenomenon. At the center of it all is semaglutide, the drug behind Wegovy and Ozempic. Simply put, it works by telling the brain you're full, slowing down digestion, and reducing cravings. It's not magic, it's science, and yet the results are almost magical for many patients. Significant, sustained weight loss in a way diet and exercise alone often cannot achieve. The first wave of trials was astonishing. Patients lost up to 15–20% of their body weight over the course of a year. For people struggling with obesity for decades, this wasn't just a number on a scale, it was a life-changing shift in energy, health, and confidence. Doctors reported patients reversing conditions like prediabetes and high blood pressure just from weight loss alone. When Wegovy launched, the response was immediate. Prescriptions soared. Patients waited months for access. Social media buzzed with stories of dramatic transformations. It wasn't just about losing weight, it was about reclaiming life. Yet, the science wasn't the only breakthrough. Novo Nordisk approached this as a full-scale revolution. They didn't just release a pill or injection, they built a global supply chain, patient education programs, and partnerships with healthcare systems to meet unprecedented demand. They studied not just the drug, but how it fits into real lives, from meal habits to exercise, insurance coverage, and mental health support. And here's the thing most people don't realize. This success drew attention from competitors worldwide. Eli Lilly's Mounjaro, new GLP-1 pills, and other weight loss medications entered the market, creating a pharmaceutical arms race. Each company raced to prove that chronic obesity could be treated with medications safely and effectively. The result? a global shift in how weight management is perceived. Obesity started being treated less as a personal failure and more as a medical condition that can be managed, studied, and treated with cutting-edge science. Novo Nordisk, once a quiet Danish company, became the face of this revolution. But this rise wasn't without tension. Supply couldn't keep up with demand. Some patients waited months to access their medication. Prices sparked controversy, and with such rapid popularity came scrutiny from regulators, doctors, and the public. Despite these challenges, the impact is undeniable. Millions of lives changed. The world started to see obesity treatment through a scientific lens, rather than a moral one. Novo Nordisk's breakthrough was more than a drug. It was a shift in perspective, in hope, and in possibility. The impact of Novo Nordisk's weight loss drugs isn't measured just in prescriptions or profits, it's measured in people's lives. Across the globe, patients who struggled for decades finally saw results that diet and exercise alone couldn't deliver. People reported more energy, higher confidence, and better health outcomes. Conditions like prediabetes, high blood pressure, and even early signs of heart disease improved alongside weight loss. For many, it felt like a second chance at life. But the story isn't only personal, it's economic. Novo Nordisk's success exploded into a billion-dollar market. Sales of Wegovy and Ozempic surged, making the company one of the most valuable in Europe. Investors took notice. Suddenly, the quiet Danish firm became a global powerhouse, commanding attention not just from patients, but from the healthcare industry and governments. This explosion also highlighted inequalities in access. In the US, high prices meant many patients struggled to afford these life-changing medications. Insurance coverage varied, creating frustration and even public debate. Meanwhile, other countries negotiated government deals to make the drugs more accessible, showing how policy and healthcare systems can shape who benefits. The weight loss revolution also sparked a cultural shift. Obesity began to be recognized as a medical condition rather than a lifestyle failure. Public perception started to change. People weren't blamed for their weight as much, and the conversation moved towards science, treatment, and support. Social media amplified this shift, with stories of transformations going viral, sparking hope and curiosity around the world. At the same time, competition accelerated innovation. Eli Lilly and other pharmaceutical companies entered the weight loss market with their own GLP-1 drugs, pushing Novo Nordisk to keep improving formulations and delivery methods. Pills, injections, and combination therapies all emerged, each designed to make treatment easier, safer, and more effective. Yet, this global impact comes with responsibility. Health professionals warn against overuse or misuse of these medications. Public health experts stress that drugs are not magic solutions. Lifestyle changes and long-term monitoring remain essential. Novo Nordisk's role extends beyond producing medicine. It's guiding the world through a new understanding of obesity, treatment, and wellness. By combining science, accessibility, and social awareness, Novo Nordisk has changed the conversation about weight loss forever. Patients, doctors, governments, and markets all feel the ripple effects of a single company daring to think differently about health. No revolution comes without friction, and Novo Nordisk's rise has sparked questions, criticism, and scrutiny. First, there's pricing and access. In the US, Wegovy and Ozempic are expensive. Many patients pay hundreds of dollars a month, leaving some unable to access treatment despite life-changing potential. This gap sparked public debate about fairness, healthcare policy, and the ethics of high-priced medications. Second, there are safety and misuse concerns. These drugs work, but only under proper medical supervision. Some people use them without guidance, chasing cosmetic weight loss rather than health outcomes. Experts warn this could lead to side effects or unrealistic expectations. Third, Novo faces competition and market pressure. Eli Lilly's Mounjaro and other GLP-1 drugs have entered the market, challenging Novo's dominance and prompting faster innovation. Supply chains, patent disputes, and compounding pharmacies also create tension. Every breakthrough comes with hurdles to manage. Finally, the global health landscape poses challenges. Different countries regulate and price drugs differently, and scaling production while maintaining quality is a constant battle. Novo Nordisk is navigating a delicate balance, meeting enormous demand without compromising safety, ethics, or trust. Looking ahead, the story is far from over. Novo Nordisk is working on next-generation drugs, like CagriSema, aiming for stronger effects, easier dosing, and broader accessibility. Pills, combination therapies, and new delivery systems could make treatment even simpler and safer for millions worldwide. Beyond science, Novo is shaping a societal shift. If weight loss drugs become widely accessible, obesity may increasingly be treated as a chronic medical condition rather than a personal failure. Public health systems could integrate these treatments, changing how doctors, governments, and patients approach health. This future is exciting, but it also raises questions. How affordable will these treatments be? Will long-term effects be fully understood? Can global supply meet demand responsibly? Novo Nordisk's decisions now will define the next decade of weight management. Novo Nordisk's journey shows how science, innovation, and ambition can transform the world quietly but profoundly. From insulin roots in Denmark to billion-dollar weight loss breakthroughs, the company has changed how we think about obesity, health, and hope itself. The story isn't just about drugs, it's about people's lives, their struggles, and the possibilities for change. It's about a company daring to challenge the status quo and reshape a global conversation on weight, health, and medicine. As you reflect on this revolution, ask yourself, could science change the way we live and care for our bodies forever? Novo Nordisk believes it can, and for millions of people, that belief is already making a difference.